Saturday morning, the 10th of September, Meteorologist Ryan Hoke here with a Hokey video blog on what could be an active afternoon for some of us across wave country, especially for those in Louisville and south and east of the city. Could have some rumbly little thunderstorms that try to go strong to severe at times today. Not everybody sees this, and some of us will stay mostly dry through the afternoon. Let's talk about today's Hokey weather fact. Speaking of dry, the driest desert that is not Antarctica, which is the driest place on Earth, is the Atacama Desert in Chile. That's a good pub trivia question. I've had that come up twice now in my life, and it's kind of weird, like, oh, there's that question again. So it's a Hokey weather fact. Driest place, driest desert on an inhabited continent, the Atacama Desert in Chile. Beautiful sunrise taking place from our Kentucky One Health SkyTrack network of cameras from Kentucky One Health at Churchill Downs. Temperatures currently in the 70s with some 60s down to our south. A few clouds rolling through southern Indiana. We've had some downpours up that way, but for the most part the downpours have ceased. And we got a little bit of a snaky little line of downpours out to our west that's pretty much dissipating at this point as we expected, so not a big deal there. Most of us drive for the morning. For the afternoon, this cold front's going to be sitting somewhere like right here. So by about 2, 3 o'clock, I think that's where the cold front will be. Out ahead of it, thunderstorms begin to develop. So this may miss you guys from Du Bois County up to Jackson County entirely. So not all of us going to see the storms today, and when we do see them, they'll be fairly brief. It's only a very narrow corridor where there is a slight risk today, and it's pretty much Louisville, Carrollton, Madison, Litchfield, on to the south and east from there, including Shelbyville, Lexington, Campbellsville, and this is where we could pick up some of those gusty, damaging winds in excess of 60 miles per hour. Here's the deal. I don't think the tornado threat's going to be worth mentioning today. It is just that low. The winds are going to be oriented from the southwest here at the surface. We really need a southerly, or even better, a southeasterly and an easterly wind here at the surface to get the low-level rotation needed for those tornadoes to form. We just don't have that today, all right? So take a deep breath. It's just a gusty, damaging wind threat, which still can be dangerous. That's why we want to tell you about things and keep our status here elevated when it comes to the forecast through the afternoon. So, by 2:30, we're still fairly dry. We may start to get some showers and downpours on the radar with this front already by 2 o'clock, but I really think 3, 4 o'clock, here we go on Futurecast. That's when things really get jazzed up around here. Any sort of storm activity, I think, is southeast of the city after about 5. And after about 6, it should be down in our southeastern counties, and most of us should be drying out by then. By sunset, we clear out the storms, clear out the humid air. We are in the 50s tomorrow morning with lower 60s here in the city. Here's the bottom line on my forecast for the storm timing. Very few storms in southern Indiana today. Unless you're in Madison, down through New Albany, Jeffersonville, I think you're going to be fairly dry. Maybe just a few downpours, but no actual big thunderstorms to deal with. 2 to 6 o'clock here at Metro Louisville. We're going to be in the early part of that window, so probably between about 2 and 4 for Metro Louisville. 4 to 8 south and east of the city through Lebanon, Campbellsville, Columbia, and Campbellsville, probably the last folks to see the storms exit, and then we're done. So this is kind of like getting your flu shot. It's going to be real quick. It may be painful for a few minutes, and then it goes away. And then we are immune, see what I did there, from storms for really the rest of the weekend. A little bit of a trade-off there, right? There's that slight risk of severe weather again. This is just sort of the bottom line here on the risks. Damaging winds, very small hail, minor flooding, heavy rain. I didn't put the tornado threat on here because it's just not worth mentioning. When you've got what we call unidirectional winds, winds from the southwest at the surface, wind from the southwest at 5,000 feet, winds from the southwest at 10,000 and 15 and 18,000 feet, roughly in that range. I mean, when they're all coming from the same direction, it's hard to get anything to rotate. You're going to have some speed shear, so there'll be different speeds at those levels, and that's what's going to keep the storms going, and that's why we're going to have more organized storm activity in that broken line this afternoon. But the lack of directional wind shear, just, that's a good thing for us as meteorologists and for you folks at home, just not to have directional shear in a setup like this, because if we did, we'd have a setup like yesterday when they had those tornado warnings in central Indiana. That is not in the cards for us today. Here's the Saturday forecast, a little more detail, given those storm chances, very low this morning and then higher for the afternoon. Temperatures in the mid-80s before the storms move through. Here's the deal. If you're going to the Highlands Festival, I would get there a little later, say after 5 o'clock, because look what happens to the storm chance. It collapses. And those Temperatures will be going back down to the lower 70s. Very pleasant evening down there on Baxter Avenue. So just go out there a little later and you'll be A-okay. Now, here's where we're going to run into some beautiful weather, and that is on Sunday. If you're heading out to the Recipe to End Hunger fall concert, that's Dawn G's charity that she's worked hard on for a couple years now. Temperatures in the 70s. Don't let the weather hold you back from getting out there. Beautiful evening expected out that way in Germantown. Monday, 85 degrees, 88 on Tuesday. We do get a 20% chance of an isolated storm, mainly south on Wednesday and Friday. Temperatures on Thursday in the lower 80s, so this is really a great forecast for this week. Now, as we head throughout that next week on the earliest alert outlook, things get a little more active. We're going to have several disturbances moving through here, more kind of a zonal flow situation, and when that happens, well, as you see, there go the storm chances. We do get a couple days in the 70s, the 18th and the 19th, behind kind of a little bit of a front, maybe some rain-cooled air in there as well. And then the 80s will be with us through about the 23rd of the month. Each day, pretty much of that week, except for the 21st, has a storm chance. So, enjoy the dry weather tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, because we will be seeing more active weather after that. All right, guys, that's it for now. Meteorologist Ryan Hoke. We will be here covering the storms, and if any severe weather is occurring, we'll post it on social media, especially on Twitter. Twitter's Minute by Minute. Facebook, we may not be posting the minute-by-minute warnings because they really don't make it to your news feed anymore the way they used to. So we're going to push you guys to Twitter and to our Wave 3 News weather app to get the latest on those warnings and things this afternoon. And we will break in during commercial breaks as necessary this evening. We don't have a 6 o'clock news, but during those commercial breaks, we will break in if necessary. We do not want to cover up that football game. I know folks want to watch that, and that's very important for you guys. So we'll only break in as necessary. That's it for now. I'm Meteorologist Ryan Hoke. We'll see you tomorrow.